to invite Mr. K.S. Rao to open today's session with a presentation on Shikshit Investor for Viksit Bharat. Mr. K.S. Rao is the Executive Vice President and Head of Investor Education and Distribution Development at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC Limited. With over 3 decades of experience in the mutual fund industry, under his leadership, ABS LMF has set the standard for excellence in the mutual fund industry, winning the Asia Asset Management's Best Fund House for Investor Education and the Best Fund House for Investor Education from Outlook Money several times in a row. Mr. Rao has passionate advocacy for financial literacy, and he has spearheaded impactful initiatives like Nivesh Mahakumbh and Investors Hangout, empowering millions of investors across India. Mr. Rao is an alumnus of IIM Calcutta, a certified executive coach, and holds multiple advanced degrees, including an MBA in finance and a postgraduate diploma in portfolio management and chartered wealth manager from AAFM. I would now like to invite Mr. K.S. Rao to begin the session today.
Good afternoon. Sorry for this inconvenience of 4 or 5 minutes. Thanks, Bhagirathi, for all the intro, and thanks to ET Money Gurukul for having all of us here. And Ellariki Namaskara. And first of all, my sincere congratulations to each one, because in spite of the rain outside, you all made it to be inside much ahead of time. And it's that shows the inquisitiveness, the time you are invested for the next 1 hour, 30 minutes or so. It's, I really compliment and congratulate. And after this presentation, we have 3 stalwarts, and we can learn a lot. And probably those cue cards, as Bhagirathi said, get that ready, and all the questions which you otherwise may not get answered, there is a possibility that you can get clarified. And 3 of them are the experts, I can say. I mean, together they will come with almost 100 years of work experience today. I mean, you can get the best. And there are 3 tall men and the stalwarts. And, with Lovaiji coming from the International Money Matters, anything on the Money Matters, you can ask for it. And Anil comes from the right horizon. But probably the moment we go out, you get a right horizon. And the last but not the least, I have a friend and good friend of mine, Harish, who is also a founder, director of OSAT, and of course, speaker, author, and coach. That OSAT is one step at a time. Probably what you learn from the Money Matters and the right horizon, you can have one step at a time. With this, I'll start. This Money Gurukul initiative for Aditya Birla is, it's over 9 years of work we have with them. And we were together, have done quite a good number of work across the country, and could be this is 100+ programs with a Money Gurukul. And why we call it as a Money Gurukul, when we started in 2014, 2015, we were just discussing here, and this is the concept we got from as children, where we went to the schools and we do this financial lessons. We do the basics of the my first financial lessons for the school children. And one of the girls who said, when we asked this question, how you define money, she said, this is I think, the name Money Gurukul, when that the rupee symbol was the first time it was coming in, she said M-O-N-E, then Y. And we asked why you said that. Then that 1 rupee coin, what I decide, is the one decides me who I am. This is a small girl under 5th class, class 5th. And she was answering, if I use that 1 rupee coin for saving, I am a saver. If I am going to spend, I am a spender. If I am going to invest, I am an investor. This is where we thought, this is the school we got this concept. Why should not we call this as a Money Gurukul? And incidentally, I come from a family of the teachers, 3 generations of teachers. And of course, I am a high-paid teacher today. My both the parents and grandparents were not only underpaid, but unpaid teachers also. My great-grandparent was having a Gurukul in those days. And that way, I think, for me, it is a more apt. And we look forward for many of those anecdotes, how we can look at in the next 15-20 minutes of time. And it is like, Mahatma Gandhi, who said, why learning is most important. He said, we all need to live our life as if we live forever. But he also said, you need to learn, you need to live a life as if you die tomorrow. You need to learn as if you live forever. Probably we let us not die, but let us live and let us learn. And learning, unlearning, and relearning is the most important part. When we did last program here, it is in the Fortune Park, the same place. I know it is very difficult to locate the place, and GPS misguides you, and you need to take the second gate and get into the second building. Investing is much more easier than coming here. Probably having come, I'm sure it is a Fortune Park, and we will have that knowledge which all the three stalwarts can give. We can park that fortune for ourselves. And it's like Benjamin Franklin who says, investing in the knowledge is the best investment you make and best interest it can give. Probably what we look at the market, today's market is all-time high with 81,223 or something in the Sensex, and Nifty with 25,143. These numbers, whether it makes sense, I think, I was just looking at Anil sir's portfolios. It's it is superlative returns. And I was to ask him, I didn't find time before I will ask, what is that I can invest with him? That's a kind. And now here, getting back this knowledge, and it's like, Warren Buffett, we always look at, is the man to go for, where we can learn. And, the more you learn, it is you want to earn, the more you need to learn. There is nothing called somebody made returns. And we can see the euphoria in the market, why we need to be careful. And probably some of you are following or watching the SME IPO, which was in a talk today, which was listed, which has 400 times subscription, which is the two vehicle showrooms. Means, things may go wrong when things are, at this kind of euphoria. It is hard-earned money. Every rupee matters for us. This is where we can learn in the Gurukul, and this is where we can look at. And the best way to start, whoever so you are, whatever you are. Even it's like I always look at Lois sir as a role model, and probably he gets not only the qualifications after the qualifications, and he gets educated after educated, and again he feels he has to do more. When he says that, we are all at alphabets, and that's where we can look at. And with this construct, I can just move forward. I from Aditya Birla. I think it's not working still, guys. Okay, I'm done. And this is our 30 years in the business of mutual fund industry. We manage a little over, it's a 3,60,000 crores today. All our whole agenda, entire Aditya Birla group is, we work on enriching the lives. That's a basic part for it. I think, currently campaign, probably some of you have seen that we live truly. It's a force for good. And in these 30 years of wealth creation, it's like, with the trust we will work, and that's inspiring the trust. Thank you for some of you who are with us investing. So those who are not there, please do look at us at a later part of the time, whenever you find the right product at the right place. And when Bhagirathi spoke about Vikshit Bharat, which we all dream for it, 2047, India celebrates its 100th independence. And in this room, I can see a lot of youngsters. And most of you have your 30 years of a bright future. And some of us who are on the other side of the 50s, probably we see enjoying, you are all enjoying. But either way, the country is on the path of prosperity, that Vikshit Bharat. And when Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has put that microsite, there is a voice of youth. All the youngsters who contributed a lot of ideas, which has created how the 2047 can look for it. It is not just a milestone to keep, but it is a step by step on the macro vision with the micro understanding what we need to do. This is a point of history where the nation, when everyone is degrowing, we are growing faster and we are growing better. But still there is a negative side to it. Is half of the Indian population still depends on the free ration. That's where we need to look, not just economical growth, but it's also a social growth. It has got a multiple pillars, the key drivers. This presentation itself can take a little over 90 minutes. I will just rush it. Please do excuse me for this. And, there are many. There is an economic boom which can happen. There is a structured stuff which is happening, not only from the government of India, but every state government which is participating. And the Indian economy is truly driven by that innovation, that technology, and its end of its sustainable practice. One, we need to reach what we intend to reach. Second, every one of us to be part of it. In the process, when India is growing, and if you are not making you grow accordingly, then you are degrowing the nation. Probably you get into you are dragging the nation. Our responsibility is all of us need to become rich and make the nation rich. And there are few drivers which can work for it, 4 pillars. But in this, I will talk only the 3 or 4 bullet points which I am talking. One is India's GDP is going to be from no, it's a currently at 4 trillion to 5 trillion, which is going to be 30 to 40 trillion kind of it, which is exponential growth. Second is per capita income is multiplying 6 to 7x. But life expectancy is also expected to go up. This morning in Economic Times, in the center spread, I was reading it. It is like last 3 years, thanks to some of the cities, including Bangalore, where the pollution has come down, and that this is globally what is impacted is it is impacted is life expectancy is going to go up. In India, they said it's going to go up by at least 3 years because of the last 3 years. Pollution is under control. It's then imagine we are all going to live longer. Is it a good news? Is it a bad news? Good news is we live longer, but we need to live with a healthy life. Good news is with a healthy life, if we are not having a wealthy life, I'm sure we can't be healthy. Without money in the pocket, we can't be healthy. We need to work for it. That's where not only we work hard, we need to make our money work hard. If you want to get to further know information about this, probably you can go to that microsite where you have a fantastic blueprint which is created for the Viksit Bharat. It is a micro and macroeconomic dynamics. There is a PDF file of 40 pages you can learn. Broadly, this is a data where you can look at the population. Where you can look at, and it's 165 crores of Indians who will be there. Probably after that, Indian population is tried to degrow. Probably next 10 years, 2047 to 2060, it may not grow to that way. Population will degrow, but we will also have an aging population, and it is a time for us to plan our retirement too. And probably some of us who work in the governments, fantastic, lucky guys. You have a OPS, and what is that latest is UPS. And for others, it's a NPS, that is a new pension system or no pension system. And you need to work for it. And, I used to work for a public sector and moved to the private sector. At that time, my father said, Beta, you are going from the organization which give a pension, and you are going to the private sector which gives only tension. And, you need to plan for that pension and that retirement, how you can plan for it. Means, India is growing, the transformational journey. Can I look at my journey as a transformational? That's the whole intention is Viksit Bharat ke liye Shikshit Niveshak. You need to learn, because it don't just depend, market is in euphoria, it will work. Some of us who are here with 30 years of market, what we have seen, it may go up, it may correct. There will be low return, there will be no return, there will be high return. There can be any scenario can emerge. But all that what we need to plan, that's the basic. This is where, when we were discussing with ET Money Gurukul content, we were looking at how one need to be a smart investor. That smart is not, it's a normal definition of a smart, we said. That smart is S-M-A-R-T. You need to be a Shikshit investor, and you need to manage this volatility. We call world is a VUCA world, but how you may manage that VUCA. And what kind of right asset allocation you can do, whether, and how you can look at risk before the returns, and how you can make your returns possible. And time in the market or time the market. We can't time the market, but you need to be timing in the market. You need to be there continuously invested. And you need to ask those basic questions. And, it's for these, uneducated is not an option. We need to be continuously educated. That's where we said Shikshit Bharat. And it's basic stuff we need to understand. Some of you are very youngsters. For you, I can say is, it's a savings economy. Appa and Amma says you need to save this kind of money. But saving alone is not sufficient, saving and investing. And what is the difference between saving and investing? And how you can control your finances, whether you have a financial coach, financial advisor, or you do on yourself, but how you can control these questions you need to ask always. Is my salary working for me? Is that sufficient? And, my friend Harish always gives a simple formula. If you are having savings minus expenses is equal to, your salary minus expenses is equal to investments, that will never happen. You need to do one thing is, first you take out investments and start expenses. That's where you can look at. And look, what is the net worth you are today? What is the net worth you are going to do tomorrow? And how you can accomplish those financial goals. And at International Money Matters, I know few thousands of people who got their financial plans right. And you need to be a smart investor. 3 things you need to have. One is have an investment goal where you want to. When you came here, you put your GPS, Fortune Park, you put it. Now you put your GPS, what is your Fortune Park? What is your financial goals? Then once you have these goals in life, what is the financial resources you have? How you can match there? Some of us came in Ola, some of us can come Uber, some of us you drove down. What is that vehicle? How you are reaching there? And what is the time horizon you can look at? Then I have Anilji, you can get that right horizons right. And with this, I have a small AV. Can you give me the sound?
There is a super plan. Invest 10,000 now. After 6 months, take 20,000.
Yeah.
Whatever you put, doubles.
Double?
Yeah. No, Mr. Kumar, na? He's also invested.
You know Kumar Sanna? He's also invested. What all he's got today?
Big car, big house, everything he has got.
That Kumar bhai na,
He has also invested in it.
Bangalore, car.
What you put, straight doubles.
Arey, that Kumar, na?
His life is set.
Or Kumar sab na? House, car, everything.
You know that Kumar sir?
What doesn't he have today?
But who's this Mr. Kumar?
Mr. Kumar.
That Kumar sir. Kumar.
Don't just go by what people say. Check the details of your investment scheme carefully before investing. SEBI, हर investor की ताकत.
Before going further, let me check any Kumars here. Hope you are all, none of you are Kumars or Kumaris, and we should not fall prey. That is the whole intention of educating. This is what SEBI, this is created much before, and still, most of us will become Kumar. All these guys who have subscribed to Reliance, what is that? Not the resourceful automobile. There are many Kumars, 400 times subscription. Means, there is a mad crowd and you need to look at, don't fall Kumars. There are multiple messages in that, but one message I can say is, and some of you came with the families, all the women who came here, all the men are rumor mongers. The woman is having a wisdom to question, who is that Kumar, right? And ensure when you are investing, be talking to your spouse, your mother, your sister, then she got a wisdom to say, you are not investing with Kumar. Just it. And today, at the end of the session, you will understand how you can have these life goals and how you can be a smart investor, how you can create that wealth, how the mutual funds can be a vehicle for you to accomplish what you want to accomplish. I always say mutual funds are mutual friends to get you to your right goals. All that you need to invest is choose the right vehicle at the right time, then it can take you to. And mutual funds with the life, today we'll talk about those life goals. We all look at India's GDP, we read in Economic Times. Even today it is showing that there is India's GDP and India's growth rate to growing up. But I always call in wherever I do the programs, I ask the investors, the audience, what is your GDP? That need not be a gross domestic product, but your GDP is your goals, your dreams, and your plans. Go back home, country is going to grow, and most of the times we are much more worried about Nirmala Sitharamanji's budget, but we don't have our own budget. In fact, on the budget day, I was in a state called Kerala, in a place called Thrissur. And I was doing a program with Manorama, the local paper. And few of them who came, who were reading the newspaper from the front to the end, published by Manorama, and they were all debating on this budget is not good. And I asked them, most of them, how many of you pay the tax? Incidentally, of 24 or 25 people who are debating, none of them are the taxpayers. But we all debate about it. But debate about your budget. This weekend when you go home, just look at, have you got your own family budget? And work on that, and then you work for your goals, your dreams, and your plans, and have that CASL right. That CASL is an acronym. You have to check what is the kind of cash flow you have, what kind of assets you have invested, whether you are heavy in what, whether in your real estate, gold, or equity, or elsewhere, and look at your succession planning, look at, what is the taxation you are looking at. Paying tax is good for the country, saving tax is good for you. How you are balancing that. Then the leverage, how you are taking. Are you overboard on the loans? Which loan to take, which loan not to take? And you are having multiple houses. Probably if you are having one house, going for the second house, probably year after you understand loan, you put it in Hindi, loan nalo. just think that that is not good for you. I mean, of course, I have a financial planners, and each financial planners cannot do anything justice here, because each of us got personal finance, person before the finance. What your goals are different from my goals. Probably you need to sit with your financial coach and understand. And last but not the least, your estate planning, your will writing, all that you can do. And end of it, when you are a good saver, ensure your savings converted to investments, and ensure you need to save and invest it right, and so that your money can work for you and you can have that power of compounding. In fact, it's the research says 99% of us can build wealth, not just because of the markets, it is because you invest for the long time. I say in the mutual fund terms, we have a systematic investment plan, SIP. I say this is SIP in a very different way. Save more and invest for longer and invest higher amount, and then patience for you wait. That SIP can work for you. And then how long you need to look at? You can invest longer the period, then you get even a recurring deposit can make you wealthy, provided you can put it for longer. Doesn't matter what kind of return it is giving. That's the power of compounding can come, only you have a power of investing. And this is, I call like this SIP, most of us are good at paying EMIs. I say do other EMI, that is equity monthly investment, not equated monthly installment, which can make you rich, which can make you poor. And we have various options to invest. It is like, if I go to Kormangala, there could be a little over a few hundreds of hotels, which hotel to eat, but I need to eat what doctor suggests to me, or what my dietitian tells to me, or what suits for me. Similarly, what asset allocation you can look at, where you intend to invest. Probably every asset, whether you want to invest in equity, debt, or even in the real estate or gold, you have a mutual fund vehicle to look at. And all that you need to ensure is you have your life goals, you have your financial goals, and how you can get there, and you can invest in that. And end of it, the message is you need to get that financial independence can work for you. And I always say the most important part of financial planning is you need to plan for the unplanned one. How that is, our experts, we can get there. And mutual funds is the easiest way, and the mutual funds can give, which is a low cost to the professional management. And if you don't understand markets, come to the mutual funds. That's a better way to look at. And asset allocation is the most important point at any point of the time, but more so now you are at a speed you are driving. I was talking to Harish Bhai some time back. I was looking at, there are statistics in a city where I live, it is Hyderabad. Recently, there is a ORR, outer ring road, similar to the nice road of Bangalore. And suddenly they have increased the maximum speed limit 100 kilometers to 120 kilometers. Means everyone started going at 120. And number of accidents have multiplied by 250%. Means when markets are high, probably the accidents will be much higher. Ensure that you have that seat belt. That seat belt is you manage your asset allocation right, and you should have that managing the risk. And when you are investing in mutual funds or your other assets, there are assets which can give you the income. There is assets which can grow. Balance it in such way. Understand your risk before return. Just don't look at return and invest. So, we always say mutual fund investments are subject to market risk. We also say past performance will not give the future performance. You need to understand what risk you can take. But of course, every investment is having a risk. Driving in Bangalore and driving in this rainy season is much more riskier than investing in the equities. And which pothole can hit you, and where the water is logging, and where we can get drowned. One of my friend's sister died last year in one of those, it's under bridge water. And understand that risk, and you cannot eliminate, you can manage the risk. Managing the risk is by the diversification, and mutual funds can be a better source for the diversification. And sometimes you think equity is too risky. Equity for the short term is risky. If you are not investing in the equity for the long term, you are taking a big risk. And you need to look at how that can be risky and how that cannot be risky. And before invest at mutual funds, you have these riskometers. Understand your goals, how long you are investing, and what kind of returns you are looking at, and what is the options you have, how much risk you can take. Follow that riskometer, then that you can get there. And why you are investing is the most important part of it. You are investing not because market is performing, you are investing for your financial goals. Invest according to the goals. This could be one table I can say. Your investment horizon you can match with the mutual funds, but best is you can have your own financial advisor or financial coach or financial planner. They can guide you better. You have a retirement fund for a longer, or you have a short-term. Mutual funds fortunately got a scheme for everyone except for the two people. The two people is one who is yet to born, other is dead and gone. All of us can use mutual funds the way it's a vehicle can work for us. And time in the market was the timing in the market. Stay invested if you want to make money continuously. Stay irrespective of the market conditions. And I always call SIP is the best way to invest because it automates your savings and it automates your investments. You don't need to look at markets. You don't need to worry about it. And you can just put according to your goals the number of SIPs. If you are not having SIP, then use the choose of STP, transferring the money regularly. Or the last one you can take back from the mutual funds. Every month we call it the systematic withdrawal plan. You can use some of the materials which we are giving while going. It has got the entire content. You can look at how you can use your SIPs in a various way and probably look that SIP can work. I think, it's a Benjamin Graham who said it is in the short run, the market is like a weighing machine, but in the long run, it is the short run, it is a voting machine. In the short run, the market is like a voting machine, but the long run, it is a weighing machine. And incidentally, in Indian markets and Indian elections, both can be possible. And look at what kind of investments you are looking at, short-term versus long-term. And, but don't put your long-term money in the cash and short-term money in the equity. Just ensure you are putting it right. And understand your expectations looking at the market, but market is always ups and downs, like your ECG graph. Ensure that you are investing rightly. On what you can control, there are certain things you don't have a control. You can't stop Ukraine war, you can't stop, like Bangla crisis or whatever is happening. And what you can do is your savings can work for you. You can plan for your investments. You have a right budget and focus on what you can control. But when you have invested, don't look at market every day. Don't look at NAV every day. It is like, for me, this NAV, when I invest my money, that is a net asset value. Till the time I accomplish my goal, that NAV is never available value. But the day I am withdrawing after my goal is accomplished, that is now available value. It is like, don't look as you plant the tree, whether it is growing. And see, all of us say we are the long-term investors when good time is on. But the market corrects, there are few people who will stand out. Don't be that lot. And all that we need to do is, luck will work for a temporary period, skill will work for the longer period. Even for luck, that is an acronym for me, LUCK, labor under correct knowledge. Even for a short term, you need to have that luck. And end of it, this is my last but one slide. Three of them are waiting for longer, how long I can take. And return on investment is one thing, whether you are investing. Probably there are some investments need not be the markets. That investments could be your relations, that invest could be your mental health and physical health. That will have a bigger rate of, more than the rate of impact, that will have a bigger impact. I think Lovi sir has done a lot of work on the transition planning. He can talk to us beyond finance, how you can manage finance. Probably this is the most important. ROI is not exactly on your investments. ROI is investing in yourself, on your health, on your relations, or your physical and mental stuff where you can look at. Last is, when you want to get a financial independence, probably, I think one of the books Mr. Anil Rego has written, and your investment income is sufficient, your expenses are lower and investment income is higher, then you get that financial independence. And the key to financial freedom and the great wealth is your ability to convert your regular savings, regular salary, either into your passive income or into your portfolio income. With this, I will stop. And this we are doing under the aegis of SEBI. And anything you have about stock market or mutual funds, any complaints, even something you want to write about me, what I spoke wrong, you can go to sebiscores.gov.in and there you can write and mention about it. Somebody has wrote a complaint about me last month. It is in Gujarat, Ahmedabad. I said, I have not seen people who have got rich by tips, but they have become rich by sips. And he has given a complaint on me. For me, the tips, I didn't mean that stock market tips. That tips is people rumors, but I have to give an explanation to SEBI on that. And that is the reason I am very vocal. And you can use that SEBI. And thank you so much. Wishing you all great financial independence. And we will have a lot of questions. Please, probably my presentation would have given some cursor for you to write your questions. Then over to Bhagirathi and all the three stalwarts to be here. And God bless you all. Thank you so much for coming here. And thanks a ton. Thank you so much. I'm sure the higher claps will not attract income tax higher. You can clap more.
Thank you, Mr. Rao, for that insightful presentation. We will now straight away delve into the panel discussion, which is closely curated to deliberate on the theme for this series, which is Invest Smart by balancing markets, financial goals, and long-term success. We will be discussing key topics, some of which were covered in Mr. Rao's presentation, including smart investing, budget implications on investing, balancing market, personal finance strategies, risk planning, retirement planning, to name a few. For this session, as Mr. Rao mentioned, we have three stalwarts with us today. I would like to welcome Mr. Anil Rego first. He is a seasoned investment professional with over 30 years of experience, is the founder and CIO of Right Horizons Group. He is known for his pioneering approach to contrarian investing. He consistently delivers superior risk adjustment returns. Mr. Anil is a respected authority in personal finance and frequently features on leading business channels like ET Now and CNBC TV 18. Our next speaker for the panel is Mr. Harish Rao, who is the co-founder and director of OSAT Knowledge, a leading investment and personal finance education initiative in India. With over a decade of experience at Franklin Templeton AMC, where he has served as a national head of institutional banks and PMS, Mr. Harish has conducted over 1,700 training programs across 160 different locations in India. His extensive experience also includes leading over 200 investor education and awareness programs. I'd like to welcome Mr. Harish Rao on stage, please. Last but not the least, I would also like to welcome Mr. Lovai Davlaki, founder of International Money Matters, who has a rich background in finance with an MBA from SP Jain Institute. With a career spanning over 2 decades, he has been recognized globally, winning the 2018 Global Financial Planner Award for the Asia region. Mr. Lovai is dedicated to helping clients navigate financial transitions and cross-border planning, combining deep expertise with a passion for excellence. Mr. Lovai. And we also like to request Mr. K.S. Rao to join the panel, please. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for battling rain and traffic and getting in today to talk to all of us. I will straight away delve into our first question for the day, and that is for Mr. Lovai. Your expertise lies in transition phase during retirement. And we all know that transition phase is a time of adjustment where you move from a structured work routine to a very flexible lifestyle. How can we plan retirement differently for this phase?
I think that's a very tough question. And first and foremost, I must thank ET and ABSL to invite me here. So a little bit about transition. I think that over these last couple of decades, while working on financial planning and trying to communicate financial literacy to people, we realized that very often our advice was not being actioned. And we also then recognized, and I got to learn of a certification from the US, which had done a fair amount of work on how behavior changes when you're going through major life change. So I think having gone through the program and understood it and sort of practiced it, it seems to be me today that almost everybody of us is going through some transition or the other. Sometimes we are going through multiple transitions. What is transition? It could be retirement, it could be inheritance, it could be sale of your stock. It could be suddenly you becoming an empty nester, moving cities, moving jobs. And if you think about some of these, and many of you, I suppose, in this audience, from being single to getting married to then having children, each of these stages when you faced, you realize that your behavior changes at that point in time. You are acting more emotionally rather than rationally. And therefore, trying to talk to people and make them understand, you asked about retirement, that when you move from earning to stopping to earn, there is this phase where you feel very, very uncertain. And even a small dip in the market on one stock in your portfolio, one investment in your portfolio, gets you to a stage of panic. And if we can sort of handhold you during that period, make you do certain exercises, have conversations with you which make you feel calmer, you'll probably not take decisions which you will regret later. So that's what I think is important for you to take care of when you're moving from one stage to another.
Great, great. Anything else? Anyone else would like to add there?
Yeah, so I think a lot of the time also money is beyond money, right? And I think there's the perspectives of people. It was like, one of our elderly clients said, I'm not wanting to sell this house because, you know what, after that I have to pay capital gains. I mean, we were just wondering how that connects. So I think it's about a lot of our perspectives, right? And so I think a good plan can happen when, there's a deeper understanding of yourself, your priorities, and what makes you comfortable, like even with risk and stuff like that. I think a lot of the time people not necessarily understand risk, right? So I think so that's all my point about saying how do we look at something beyond money while you're doing the plan to ensure that, then you are able to achieve it better.
And at this point, would any advice or reading or what sort of path you can take to sort of educate yourself better when you're going through this stage of transition?
Yeah, so interestingly, I tell people that actually the world is flat and all of you have as much of information as we have. Okay, that's the interesting part. Maybe what we can do a little differently is probably to, we've gone through certain situations. Maybe we train ourselves not to take emotional calls. Okay, and I'll give you an example. So let's say if you are in a situation, market is really volatile. Let's take 2008 when it was say down 60%, and at that time, you don't know what to do, right? And so maybe there we come in with a slightly saner mind, and we've sort of seen some of these in the past, and the only thing we do is probably reassure you, don't worry, right? And may not be something much required beyond that. So I think in such situations, possibly have somebody who can support you, okay, in those situations. Now, coming about, what data and all of this there, apart from all the sites that you have, I mean, even if on the mutual funds, you can have every information that we have, right? It's all there in publicly available sites. You don't even have to subscribe to some of them. You can see the portfolios. You can see quarterly, half-yearly, whatever periods of time, comparisons, right? So it is all there. But maybe how we can, build a little bit of discipline for ourselves, right? To say that, okay, can I just have a habit of reading, right? Can I read also investment books? Can I read a little bit about the mutual funds and markets? And then educate, from various sources. If you're not as proficient, let's say, in managing your money, then probably use an advisor. Okay, so I think it's and important to learn as you go, right? Because sometimes experiences also teach you much, right? If you see, you're investing in markets and you see, okay, you're frightened at some point of time and you did something the opposite of what you should have done. Okay, just keep that in mind for the future. So I think also as you go in the journey, your own experiences, I think, can be a great way to learn.
You want to add something? Okay. I think when both of them said about transition planning, transition planning not only for money, for every part of our life, it happens. Like, you need to predict what is unpredictable. And you can't predict, then you need to prepare for it. When it comes to investments during the transition, during those shock periods when it is coming in, the best is like, it's like a traffic lights, you have a prepared and there is a pause you can give. Then that's a pause period. You need to pause there. You need to look there. You need to be calm down. It's a managing self is the most important than the managing the money. I mean, probably during COVID time we have seen That is a period of time we are not sure. We go back to the work or we are going to earn and we need to pay our EMIs. That cannot stop, but our salaries got stopped. And what you can do it, what is the best you can do during the worst period? In fact, there is a Vedanta philosophy which they say is Nikrishta Vastuni Utkrishta Drushti. Like, when it's during the tough time, how you can look at in a very different paradigm than we can look at. I mean, probably once you prepare for it, you will have a lesser shock for it. And once I have put that seat belt right, once my asset allocation is right, my equity is down, but my debt has supported me, or my debt will not give that kind of shocks. And my emergency fund is always there. Probably on the financial side, I look at, irrespective of what stage of life we have, you look at the formula for your emergency fund. It could be a 3 months to 12 months, depending on the nature of job or your investments or your type of personality you are in. And sir, over to you.
Yeah, so I think also in retirement, we have to think about retirement not the way you saw maybe your parents going through retirement, but what you are seeing today, which is going to be quite different from that stage and age, right? So life expectancy, as Mr. Rao mentioned, is going up. I don't know about you, but maybe we can ask the audience, how many of you personally know at least one person who's above the age of 100? Anyone here? Few hands up. I know 5 people personally who are above the age of 100, and 15 years ago, I think it would be a surprise for me to know anyone above 90. So I think that has changed. It's changed and it's changing quite dramatically. You're also realizing that while we grew up with the assumption and with the responsibility that we will take care of our parents, I don't think we are expecting our children to take care of us. It's not that they may not have love for us, they don't want to, etc. But you're seeing the age and stage that they are, that you have to be fairly independent. So how are you going to be independent if you are going to live to 100 plus? And I think in our financial plans, we take 100 as life expectancy, and I keep telling everyone that we are underestimating. So there is reports and research which says that the lifespan of a human being is 143 years, and that discount is because everything is not perfect, your lifespan is shorter. But that's going on increasing, and I think in your slides you said by 2047 it will be 84, the life expectancy. So it's going to jump up. And therefore, you'll need to find yourself something which is engaging you mentally. It may also benefit you financially, or it may be minus on finance because you are learning something new, you're teaching something new. So I think we need to think about all these, and these are well beyond money conversations. Yes, money is an element, but you need to figure out, and it's not just you. Then you check with your spouse, is there some common thing that both of you like to do, or whoever your partner is that you're going to live with, right? You can't be, getting up every morning and spending the half day or whole day playing golf and saying, no, my spouse is at home. It doesn't work, right? So you need to fix that problem as well.
I think I fully watch on what Lois sir was telling. I mean, we do these sessions of retirement planning, for the various cohorts. And recently I was reading this book of Linda Granton. She is a professor in London School of Economics. And, it's the situation is going to come in the world where you may have to work for 100 years. The book name itself is 100 Years Work Life. And, then superannuations technically put at 60s, 65s. All of us need to prepare for it. I can work longer. And retirement plan, when they prepare, they call it the golden age plan. And unfortunately, the golden age plan, GAP, is a gap for all of us. How you can pull that gap is, you need to that golden age plan, you need to shine that gold regularly. What is that gold? That gold is an acronym for me. What is that gold? G is, you need to gainfully engaged. Whatever the work, it is not just social work. Can you making something out of it? G is gainfully. O is optimally invested. Whatever the money you have, don't look at, on the retirement day, my entire money has to go to liquid fund. Because I will be living longer. Even, there is money which need to work for me. And there is and optimally invested. And L is your lifestyle makes all the difference. You can't overspend, and you need to have that discipline. And the D is diversification and the discipline. I think that's where we can get there and over time.
Great, very, very well put. And I think understanding from the number of years we're going to live, I think wealth creation is very important so that we have enough wealth to take care of us in our old age. So this question is for Mr. Harish Rao. What is your go-to mantra for wealth creation, and how can we make sure we follow the right steps so that we have enough wealth for all ages, not just retirement?
It's a great question. I've got one pet answer. If you want to create wealth, first thing, improve your human capital. Okay, that's the raw material. So if you're a good doctor, aim to become a great doctor. You're a good lawyer at the city civil court out here, try to become the Harish Salve of the city civil court. You're a good cricketer, try to break into the IPL team and become a rich cricketer. So that's the absolute key to wealth creation. Your human capital has to be good. Your certifications, your skills, your social connect, your emotional quotient, all of this helps you accumulate human capital. Once you have your human capital sorted out, your financial capital will flow. Okay? So if you're MBBS, you might get, 10 lakhs per annum. MBBS with, MD in radiology, 10 lakhs becomes 100 lakhs per annum. Correct? So that's the way it works. Your human capital, if you sort it out, okay, invest in human capital. Okay? Spend some money in improving your certification. Go ahead, you take a sabbatical to, get yourself requalified and recalibrated mentally. So that's important. So from human capital comes financial capital. And then you listen to the advice of either Mr. Anil Rego or Mr. Lovai Navlaki. Okay, I'm not an investment advisor. I don't have a license to advise investors. Okay, I'm a financial trainer. But both these gentlemen have the license to advise people. So listen to their advice, and they will help your financial quotient become, very good investment quotient. Okay. But since Bhagirathi ma'am asked me specifically about wealth creation, that I can only say cliches, start early, as early as you can. If you can invest your pocket money, okay, in any investment, doesn't have to be the hottest stock which K.S. Rao sir was talking about in the SME index, no. Even putting money in a recurring deposit in a bank, start early. That shows you have a mindset for saving and investing, okay? Be proud of your investment, awareness and your investment quotient. Invest regularly, have a very long-term view, learn from all your mistakes, okay? And learn from others' mistakes also, right? You have only one lifetime, please don't use that lifetime to learn only from your mistakes. Learn from the mistakes of your, brother-in-law, of your classmates, of all the other people in your WhatsApp groups and all that. Learn and then monetize it at the end. Like one of the earliest lessons, one of the good financial advisors told me was, I told him I lost a lot of money in the year 2000. Okay, when I switched a lot of funds from, diversified equity funds into a infotech fund. So this was 2000. Okay, so I went from an NAV of, 20 to an NAV of maybe 10, 50% loss. So he told me it's a lesson learned in the financial markets. When a man with money meets a man with experience, the man with the experience gets the money, the man with the money gets the experience. Okay, so 2000 was when I got the experience. Okay, lost about 3 to 4 lakhs and I got experience. So when did the next big downturn happen? 2008, global financial crisis. At that time, I was the guy with experience, okay, and I got the money from guys who were redeeming left, right, and center because my SIPs and my asset allocation, everything was going on fine. So important thing is learn the lessons well and monetize it with your experience. That's the key to wealth creation. Thank you.
I'd like Mr. Anil and Mr. Lovai to add anything if they have here.
Yeah, I think apart from all of it, again, talking less about how to manage money, I think it's actually about discipline. Okay, and I think the SIP, for example, is a fantastic way to do that. But I think even beyond that, right? Discipline starts with defining your goals, doing a financial plan, right? And somewhere I started off this because I had this goal of retiring from corporate life by 35 years. From the time I started working itself, I kept that goal and was able to do that some 5 years earlier. Right? So, but part of that was because actually I was also disciplined in continuing to track it. Of course, I had set my goals. I put it on an Excel. My investments also, I did accordingly. And of course, when you're disciplined, you probably have some upside as well, right? So, and I see a lot of clients, suddenly their portfolios are almost unimaginable. I remember this client telling, client's wife telling his spouse, Mr. X, your portfolio is 30 crores, okay? And now you actually can do what you want, right? But interestingly, after like 2 years, he's coming back and saying, okay, you know what, I want to retire. And he's still having the discussion, is it enough? So I think it's discipline, I think, is something that if you follow, it'll happen so easily and without you even imagining. I think you will be able to achieve it. Yes, of course, on the financial side, yes, asset allocation, the planning, the choosing the right investment, reviewing your portfolio periodically, and sort of taking a long-term approach is something which I think will help you.
So I think the piece that Anil mentioned, I think is very important as to why do you want to create wealth. I think a lot of people get in saying, I'm going to invest here and I am expecting I will make X percentage return or make X amount of money or achieve a particular goal. But then you get swayed and get pulled in and sucked in. If you have a great market, then you say, no, let me continue the ride. I mean, I have a simple question to ask. Immediately after this meeting, I'm heading to the airport to take a flight to Pune. And it's supposed to take 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now, let us say that I reach Pune in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Okay, I'm hovering above that. So, no, I had planned 1 hour, 30 minutes. So, should I now continue and go to Nagpur? I don't think that makes sense, right? But in investments, we do this all the time. We've reached our place, but we say, no, let's stay on with the ride because it's a fun ride. It's free, but it's your time. It's your risk that you're taking. You're not taking it out for the purpose that you meant for. So please have the discipline, not just of investing, but also of reviewing and taking out some money. You don't have to take out all the money. So I don't think I can say I will get off, 3 parts of me will get off and 1 leg will remain on the flight, so I will enjoy the rest of the journey. But I think in investments, you can plan and do that. That at least keep skimming off the top. If you feel that you've made more money than warranted, take that off so you are at peace. Then if you make some extra money, nobody complains about a bonus, right? So even if you have to pay tax, so it's fine. Get the bonus.
Great. As we continue this discussion, we did mention you all have cue cards. It would be nice if you can pass on your cue cards and we can, pass on some of these questions to all our panelists. Mr. Rao, you mentioned that mutual funds are like mutual friends. So they say that don't place all your eggs in one basket. So can you throw some light on what is the importance of mutual fund diversification and how it is important?
I think earlier Anilji was already spoke about SIPs and any one of us want to, why we won't invest? That's the first question I will ask is, and we are little afraid and we need something easy to happen. I think, it's a book called Atomic Habits. If you can make that habit simple, which is available to you. And this is a goal I need to get there. And how do I get? There is a simple way I can tick off. We need everything simple. It is like, anything complicated, we will just postpone it. And mutual funds give that simplicity. And, you have a retirement goal, probably, you choose a fund that can be there for 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years, which is away for you. Or it could be a 2 to 3 years goal, you want to travel abroad and you want to take a vacation, then you could be having a debt fund or, the duration funds where you can stay. Even for as much as your 1 month money, it can go to the savings account, say liquid funds, where, at a click of the button, you can redeem it. Even today, some of the funds can give up to 50,000 rupees immediately, instant your account is created. Means mutual funds gives that convenience to you. That is the reason I say mutual funds are always your mutual friends. Whenever you need, you can withdraw. There is a liquidity which is available to you. And the SIP way of it, and SIP, some of us, we are thinking, it is just for Aam Aadmi, and I met one of the investors in Coastal Andhra a couple of months back, and his net worth is little over 100 crores. I was suggesting some SIPs. This is not for me, I am an 100 crores investor. Don't look at that. SIP, whatever the money, we can always, and that can give the simplicity, that can make our life much more better. I mean, irrespective of what, it automates your life, and you don't need to worry how the markets are moving. And for me, that SIP is, earlier when we asked this question to Harish, how to create a wealth, the SIP is the way to wealth. What is that SIP is? You need to save wisely. S, I is invest rightly. Then you can wait patiently. Then that can create a true wealth for us. And the another SIP I can say is how the SIP can create a moment, that S part, whatever the savings, that liquid, that money, like for example, you get 100,000 rupees as a salary. So you don't use it. Part of the money can go to the liquid fund, that S part. I part is you are investing according to your financial goals. You have 3 goals, your child education or your retirement, or you want to buy a new car. Accordingly, you invest money. And the last P part, I think, I look at post-COVID. It is not only I need to survive. I mean, even if my neighbor gets infected, I will be getting infection. And I need to give something to the society back. And that P part is, you can have one goal of philanthropy, at least have one SIP which can go for the charity can go it. I do this program called My First Paycheck, little over 40 universities in the country. And I ask these students, most of the times the person who is hosting me is the placement officer. He or she will tell me, my boys got X CTC, Y CTC, blah, blah, blah. And this word of CTC gets to me, and I will immediately, my first question to those students in the college is, your chief placement officer says, your predecessors got 10 lakh CTC, 15 lakh CTC. And I understand what is the CTC, I'll ask the question. These girls, they will get up quickly and they say, CTC is cost to the company. Then I will tell them, I come from Aditya Birla, which is a Marwadi company, and for me, cost comes on the asset side, it's not liability side. And if you are liability side, it's a cost to the company. Why I need to hire you? And they will scratch their head for some time. Sir, it is not the cost. Then, I am contributing something to your company, you are giving salary. Then they say CTC is not cost to the company, it is a contribution to the company. Then I will tell them, not the contribution to the company alone is sufficient. We are 10-15% of Indian population who are privileged. 85% of the population, we need to go and support our community. That CTC can be a contribution to the community, then contribution to the country. Similarly, that P part, that philanthropy part, probably we own. It could be a 10%, it could be a 2%, even it could be a 1%. We can have one SIP account for the philanthropy so that we can contribute without, it is not our money, irrespective of what religion we belong to a religion of serving others. Anilji want to add something? I can make the smile. And his wonderful book, which says, what is that? Honey, where is my money?
No. It was Honey, I lost all our money. Okay, so actually it was in, my thing was how do I, explain it to people in simple terms. So I tried to use a story form to explain, personal finance concept. So what I was thinking of, when you said about giving back to society, right? Interesting book I read, which was Conversation with Millionaires. Okay, this guy who did a interview with various millionaires, and one of them was, and there were various traits. Okay, one of it is people who ran after money, never got it. So all of these were people who never ran after money, but they ran after the cause and wanted to do something, interesting. The other interesting was philanthropy, right? Almost every one of them, okay, were people who were doing some social cause or the other, and somewhere it comes back. So that was the thing that I was thinking of.
Very interesting one, sir. It's when you give honestly, you get it. How much you get, you don't know, but you get it. If you don't give, it is like, when you have to breathing your anulom vilom. I mean, first you breathe out, then you breathe in. And if you are not, then, we need to question. It's not that how much I have. When you are earning at 10,000 rupees, if you start giving the habit of giving, when you are getting at 10 crores, you can give. Otherwise, you can never give. And end of it, I mean, how many of you are guarantee that you are going to live forever? Any 1 year? None of us, right? And it is a responsibility for all of us to give. I keep selling, how to manage your money, simplifying your money. Just follow 5 Gs. The first G is you get your money. You earn with salary or business or farming or anything that you need to earn. That is where human capital, where Harish spoke about. Earn as much as you can. Then all that money what you are earning, if it is lying in the locker, inflation eats away and you can't enjoy. You need to grow your money. You need to invest it properly. And growing money is also just not right always. There is a time you need to protect your money, guard your money. Otherwise, you always sit busy in the growing, then market corrects, then one asset class, then you are gone. And guard your money. And the last one, give your money. I mean, next generation you are giving any case, give that money not only to the next generation, there is somebody else underprivileged. Then the last one, that 5th G is hidden G. You do it out of gratitude, then grace will follow.
We have a good number of questions coming in, so I'm just looking at some of them which have come up a few times, and that is, how do you choose a good financial advisor?
So I think the answer is not generic for everybody. My take is that you need to figure out what is it that you are seeking and what type of interactions you want to have. So typically, what would you do if you wanted to buy a good shoe, right? You would try and find out as much information as you could online. You would go to some shoe shops and actually try it out. You maybe talk to your friends, your children, your cousins, and find out what shoe has worked. If that person had the same objective of that shoe as you had. So if you wanted to do marathon running, you would ask a marathon runner about a good shoe versus somebody who's only walking. If you wanted to walk, you ask that person, right? So I think it's important for you to understand what type of advisors exist in the market. Primarily, there are broadly 2 types of advisors or intermediaries. One set which will be an investment advisor, which is registered with SEBI, that's a fee-based thing. The other one is offering you products from the manufacturer and they earn a commission. Neither is wrong. Neither of them is, this better or that is worse. You choose one of them. How do you choose? You will interview them. You find out some names. You will look up some websites. You will try and search maybe articles, some reference points that you find. Then meet a few of them and make sure that the chemistry works, that they ask you the right questions, not how much money is in your bank, then that's one red light flashing. Don't choose that intermediary. That's not right for you, especially if you're seeking advice. I think those are the basic points. I mean, I don't want to get onto a rant about A versus B or this is the best way, but make sure that it works for you more than anything else. And ultimately, of course, after you do the shortlist and selection, you can definitely ask the advisor for references and say, okay, can you refer me 1 or 2 people who might, tell me about their experiences and tell me. Typically, we say, okay, we will have to check because we've not got a mandate from our clients to give you their names. We will check with them, okay, you are 48 years old and you have 1 kid who's studying abroad. We'll try and find a close enough match for you and say, talk to them. Talk to 1 or 2 people and find out how their experience is. I think the openness with which that advisor is willing to give you a reference also gives you some indication. As to whether they are open, transparent, or no, they are, no. It is a big secret. I cannot tell you any names, so I cannot give you any reference. Just like my face and sign your check. Then that, I'd be a little careful about it.
No, actually, of course, I'll be happy if you chose me as an advisor, but I think... No, but it was just hear me out. Okay, but what I was saying was, I'm an interested party, so probably Harish or Mr. Rao will be better placed.
Yeah, see, I would suggest that you search around for a good advisor. Since you are in Bangalore, you would have friends and trusted friends and relatives who would be investing through a intermediary. Okay. So ask them for people who have no conflicts of interest, okay? Have people who are high on integrity, okay? That integrity you can judge by their communication, the references, the body language, and the sort of questions they ask and the questions you ask. Very, very important. This, especially if you want to invest for the long term, give very high marks for integrity than for competence, okay? Because like Warren Buffett said, expertise with a lack of integrity is the most dangerous thing in an advisor, okay? You may be less competent, but a person with the high intent and good integrity is far more important for you when you manage money. So look for a person who's got no conflict of interest, preferably someone who's got a lot of experience, who has seen the market through cycles, okay? Who doesn't have a short-term view to the business, and very, very important, who has got skin in the game. That means what they are going to advise to you is where they invest or insure themselves, okay? Like there's a very famous restaurant in Matunga Circle in Bombay, Ramanai Kudupi. If you have gone there, there's a board inside the restaurant. The owner of the restaurant eats his lunch here, okay? That is called skin in the game. So similarly, your advisor, ask her to show you their portfolio, their style of investing. The best advisors I know, okay, have skin in the game. What they recommend to their investors is where they invest themselves. So there is no conflict of interest. There is a total alignment of purpose. It is a very honest interaction, and there is no, there's no manipulative, or there is no, hidden give and take in this relationship. I think that's important.
So only one, I would say, slight objection to what Harish said is, I'm not sure whether I will invest in the same places as I might advise you, because your goals and objectives may be different from mine. As long as I'm transparent and tell you the reason why I'm recommending something and why I haven't done it myself, or I'm doing the opposite. So it may be my goal is coming up in the next 2 months and I am withdrawing from a particular investment asset class today, but your objective is entering today and investing for 7 years. It might be different. As long as I'm transparent, I think that's important. The other important thing I just remembered is in the first meeting. At the end of the first meeting, just have a sort of equivalent of a riskometer with you, saying how much time was I allowed to speak and how much time did the advisor speak. If you have spoken less, then there is a problem, because the advisor is not interested in asking you questions and getting to know you. He is only trying to get to boast about what he does and what his views are and where you should invest. And then there is an element of their own bias coming in the investment.
Great discussion. We've had a few questions come up on portfolio management and how should your portfolio look like. Yes, Mr. Lover. Yes. I
have a few minutes. I didn't realize it's already 5:20. So I think again, I don't know whether there's a generic answer to this question, but I think when I'll try and generalize this. Most investors, if you ask them what do you want with their money, is I want maximum return, I don't want to lose my money, And then whenever I want the money, I want to be able to withdraw. So you want return, you want zero risk, you want very high liquidity. Unfortunately, it does not exist in a single product. So as long as you can segregate this out separately, how much money do you need for liquidity, which should be first, take that out, and that money is being invested in a manner where you can draw it out whenever you want. Returns are not important at all. It's only that it has to be liquid. Yeah, you can then micromanage and say, can I get, instead of 6, can I get 6.5%, 7%? But it's a short period of time anyway, so that's your liquidity part. Then the remaining money, I think, gets invested based on two things. One is your goals. So if you have goals coming up in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, then you start looking at where should I invest that part of the money. Again, take that out. And then the balance is based on your risk profile. So can I invest more than 50% of my money in equity, 20%, 70%? And then you manage that. Then you can get into, whether I do mutual funds alone or do I want to top it up with other type of products. See, all of us don't like only vanilla ice cream, right? You want little chocolate sauce, little cherry, some cream. But you can't have your entire ice cream made of cherry, cream, and chocolate sauce. Then you say, oh, where's the vanilla ice cream? Sometimes we forget that. In this current market, I think everyone is looking at only chocolate sauce, cherry, and cream. And, the ice cream it's not ice cream. You've just suddenly decided to move to a different product. So I think that's important.
Great. I know you have to leave very quickly. So, Mr. Lovai, one question that's also come up from the audience. There are a lot of millennials in the audience that I can see. And of course, we've spoken about retirement and, living up to 100. How would, you give financial tips for millennials to build a strong financial future?
So I think the first thing that the younger people need to do is to take very high health insurance. And I think you must understand that inflation on health and medical is extremely high. And the younger you are, there's a greater chance that what is going to cost 10 lakh today is going to cost 2 crores by the time you're older. So you need to make sure you have adequate health insurance. So when you're going on a yacht in the sea and you're going to enjoy that yacht, you first make sure there are no holes in the yacht. So first make sure that is there, then enjoy the rest of the journey. So I think that's extremely important. And I know that you like to experiment, you like to do things which are digital, fast, where you can have very nice cocktail conversations. Keep aside some money for that. Tell the advisor or the intermediary that this is what I am doing because this is fun for me. And there has to be some part which is serious, which is the old traditional, I don't think old traditional, I would say, sorry, the traditional or the sort of scientific way of investing. Do that. Little bit, of course, sure, you can play around. Crypto, Bitcoin, Grow, Zerodha, wherever you want to go. Enjoy.
Great. Thank you so much. And I think in interest of time, thank you so much for being with us. And we'll... Thank you so much. I think in interest of time, I'll probably take another question which has come up a few times from the audience. Is it a good time for common investors to invest at this point? And is real estate or mutual fund the better way to go ahead?
See, sometimes I think there's a lot of WhatsApp University, nowadays YouTube University as well, and there's enough of stuff going around there. And one just keeps in mind that sometimes, it's good to look at numbers, okay, if you're taking a decision. And that's something that I have used. So, and I will go back to something slightly more technical in terms of an answer there, because it's important to look at valuations, not in absolute terms, especially when you're looking at an index, okay, because the index is just a weighted average of the stocks that you hold. And as time goes by, you'll find those stocks, especially let's say in the large index, large cap index sort of, they will only grow larger and larger. Only the largest companies will keep coming up. The ones which go a little slower will get kicked out, right? So, so it's important to look at not that, okay, it's an all-time high, right? Because it's okay to have all-time highs, and it'll keep on happening because, and that is only natural. Okay, what's important to look at what is the relative valuation, and I think the P ratio is probably the simplest way of looking at it, right? So, and I think what everybody has forgotten is, in 2019, before COVID, the Nifty PE was 29. Okay, today it's 23.5. Okay, and what has actually happened is earnings has grown very well in that period, right? So, and if earnings grows well and, the index is also growing because of that, is great, right? It's not a problem, right? So I would think that, I don't think markets are overvalued at this point of time. It's good to continue to invest. However, I think as we go higher and higher, it's important to know that markets will get riskier and riskier, right? The risk when markets are like in the dumps is actually much lower, okay? But when markets are high and at a peak, okay, and as it goes up and when valuations go up, relative valuations go up, and that is the time to be a little cautious. And I think we will keep getting there, and from there it's important to see, quality and stuff like that. Yeah.
Great. Anything to add there?
Yeah, so real estate, okay, a lot of people bash real estate if they are, this side of town, and financial assets. But I think, practically, it's another asset class, right? And it's important that you look at it as part of your overall asset allocation, right? It's good to have some bit of real estate. It gives you the foundation. It may give you the comfort that I have my own house and stuff. And if your portfolio is really large, then okay, continue to keep allocating to it. But I think also know that, like Mr. Rao said, each asset has its different type, right? And you cannot achieve everything through a single asset. So real estate as an asset is good long term. It's physical. You can see it. You'll get comfort from it. Okay, but it's illiquid. Right? So from that standpoint, I think, you need to keep in mind. And maybe at your early stages, you can have a little lesser of it because you can afford to take risks. So for the millennials, okay, and I know some, even high net worth individuals who have a different perspective, say, I don't even own a house. I stay in a rented house in the best layout, and actually that rents are pretty cheap, in comparison, because it's some 2-3% rental yields most of the time. Okay, but maybe from a comfort standpoint and a diversification standpoint, I think it's good to have it on an overall basis. But real estate also has coming off a long down cycle, so I think it should also, do reasonably well. Yeah.
Great. Anything to add there, Mr. Rao? Great. In interest of time, I think I wanted to come back to our theme for the day. We opened the conversation about Viksit Bharat, and I would like, based on your domain expertise, for you to give all of us one tip of smart investing, which we call as Shikshit Niveshan for an investor that can lead to Viksit Bharat by 2047.
No, so I think like Harish Rao also said, a lot of it are about your own, human capital. And I think if you are able to build on that, I think it's just the fundamental one, both in terms of knowledge of, the various asset classes, how markets move. I don't think you need to really, know, how to buy a stock and stuff like that. Okay, but a wider knowledge. And just, also from experience, like I said again, okay, will really help you, get there.
Great. Mr. Rao.
There was a book, I don't know how many of you have read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. So in that, there is a statement, why are the rich rich and the poor poor? The rich are rich because they learn personal finance at home. The poor are poor because they learn personal finance at school. Okay? So if you are going to learn lessons from your parents, the good lessons on personal finance, okay, income minus savings equals expenses. 20 to 25 to 30% of, post-tax income is saved and invested. okay, then you are getting the raw material that is necessary for wealth creation. Okay, so you need to keep that raw material for wealth creation and learn from, I don't know how many of you have parents or siblings who can practice what is called delayed gratification. Delayed gratification is giving up, pleasures today, okay, so that you can get better, profits tomorrow, okay. Don't see the, World Cup for the next 1 month. Steady. Do one more revision for the entrance exam. You will get into the best engineering college. And then after that, you can enjoy for so many years. So, which is true in a way. I had a neighbor, the kid, studied so hard for his CET. He got a 50th rank in CET, okay? And he walked into NIT Surathkal Computer Science. And then he said, 12th standard exam in the CET was the last time I studied for more than, studied for 12 to 15 hours in a day. After that, now he's married and he's about 34 years old. He says for the last 16 years, I have never studied for more than 15 minutes. Okay? After studying so hard for the NIT, for the CET, okay, NIT Surathkal was a breeze. We guys, if you can max CET and get 50th rank, everything else, now you just got to pass. That's it. Okay? And with a NIT Surathkal degree, any guy is going to take you. Okay, so that was a great example of delayed gratification. The kid slogged, sacrificed anything. No, how much you call, other kids call him out in his window, come and play. No. Got his 50th rank in, CET and then enjoying life later. So that, and his younger brother is even more, he's an MD radiology from England, okay? Still studying, he's 32 years old and is still studying. I think those guys learned my thing on human capital, they took it too seriously, okay? Going on improving their human capital. So that, so this delayed gratification, okay, if you can learn some good personal finance values from those who are close to you, it could even be your teacher, it could be your best friend, it could be someone in your WhatsApp group, or, it could be anyone like that. These are your building blocks for very, very successful long-term, good emotional standing in the world of personal finance. That's what I would like to suggest.
Great.
I think after both of them said about 2047, how you can plan, and I can only infer what they give. I can sum it up what they said. That's a better way rather than giving. I start with Arish Bhai one when he said, we all have a literacy, right? It's normal ABC we learn. In the financial literacy, we need to just understand 3 words our life is done. DIP, take a dip into that. D is the delayed gratification, I is an impact of inflation, and P is the power of compounding. And all that you need to do is follow the delayed gratification and ensure what is the inflation is impacting to you and how the power of compounding working so that you can invest. And today we are in Fortune Park FP and have good FP financial planner with you so that financial planning can go. And then, you can explore the other FEs, your full potential to 2047, you can get there and stay invested for longer. And ET is organizing an event to us. And, I incidentally, I read Economic Times from my, as early as 90s, it's that ET for all of us is education for transformation. You educate yourself not for entertainment, but how it can transform. Means, consume less of social media, more of the media which can give you the right information. And this is done by their vertical called EDGE, this entire Gurukul series. EDGE is a series of Economic Times which done. And while you are investing in EDGE, equity, debt, gold, and partly into the real estate or international estate, so that you have a perfect portfolio. then that can will take you to the Vikshit Bharat or beyond Vikshit Bharat. You know, that's where you can take back home. And before I give the mic back to her, there are few questions. I can have a quick rapid fire. This is on the mutual funds which are meant. Somebody has given a question. We are a business organization. We park temporary funds into the excess funds into the FDs. Would investment in mutual funds have the same flexibility? Mutual fund have a more flexibility wise, it's more, but FD guarantees the return. Mutual fund will not guarantee the return. Depending on the duration, you can use a duration fund, and that you can look at. That's the first part of the question. And second part of the question, somebody is written, why investment in mutual fund is less than in the fixed deposit? Probably I'm not very sure which fund you spoke. It is like, you know, mutual funds you have, as we said, as equity, debt, gold, and various funds are there. And you need to look what kind of NAVs and how it is. You can go to some of the websites like a Value Research Online or Money Control, where you can get the entire information. And you also spoke about one of our funds, NAV. Probably I'll discuss offline separately. Whoever so spoke about ABSL, one of the funds, because I can't give anything from here, but I can definitely talk to you. I can clarify your doubts. Can mutual funds have a minimum guarantee? There is more minimum guarantees, and but you know, it's always you can look at how the funds are performing over a period. It's getting there. And which mutual fund is for the short term and long term? You can look into your goals and invest according to your goals. Don't look at which fund is for short term. There are, you use, I mean, you know, when you are playing cricket with 3 wickets, you work for the investments, there are 3 wickets. Your safety, your liquidity, and your returns. Ensure all the 3 wickets are important, how you can invest for it. And short-term mutual funds will give a better benefit. Mutual funds, short-term or long-term, it gives the same benefit. It is like a Ola, Uber, where you are hiring. You know, if I come from Jayanagar, I can hire something, or from here, if I have to go back to Bombay, I lose the flight. I think we spoke excess. Now even Mike is not cooperating. We need to stop that. And then should investments in NFO or investing in existing mutual funds, that you have a choice. If you have not invested into that particular category, you can go for NFO. Otherwise, existing mutual funds, always you can look at the performance. And NFO, sometimes you may or may not, you know, it's that is a choice. Probably have your financial coach, that can be better. Who should be risking in sector-based mutual funds? You know, look at riskometers, and sector funds are always high risk, whether you can take or not. And this is a question about mutual funds are subject to market risks. Of course, mutual funds are subject to market risk, which we used to talk till 2016. After that, when we have this campaign called Mutual Fund Sahi Hai, subject to market risk, but Sahi Hai, you need to take that risk. Agar se risk nahi liya hai, wo bada risk hai. And there is a movie which says risk mein ishq. I mean, you know, that you can have that ishq with the risk, then you can make that. And whether Aditya Birla mutual fund, lower risk for the investors, every mutual fund is the same, whether you are Aditya Birla, starting from the SBI, the largest fund, to the lowest fund, every mutual funds follow the same rules, and all of us are bound by the SEBI. It is nothing different for you. And can corporate NPS be a threat to the mutual funds? He is talking about in terms of a tax benefit. Whether NPS, you have a very different performance, and mutual funds, you are just not coming for the tax benefits. Mutual funds, I said, you have multiple funds you can choose, and nothing is threat to anything. We have a huge opportunity for everyone. With this, I can stop and hand over the mic.
Thank you so much. In conclusion, I would like to say that we've learned a lot about smart investing today, making informed decisions, strategic decisions, and aligning financial goals with the risk tolerance, of course. I hope this session of Money Gurukul will inch you closer to achieving all your financial goals, securing your future, and navigating the complexities of the market. With this, I would like to thank all the panelists for all your valuable insights. I'm sure all our attendees have benefited from our discussion this evening. Thank you. And before we end,
you know, at Aditya Birla, we do a lot of initiatives to educate people, whether it is retirement planning, or for young children, we do the school programs, college students, we do programs, and, you know, we have an exclusive program for women, which is called For Her. And we go to the Faujis and we do Fauji Nivesh. Likewise, we have multiple things. And one we run in Vande Bharat, this free magazine called Samruddhi. I mean, since we have esteemed guests, I requested them for this current issue they can launch here. Before we go, we'll just take a click. And this book is available on the website. You can download PDF version. Probably the hard copy has not come, printed one, which is, I think it is coming in this week. Before that, we are just launching. And This is a Samruddhi, the is called, which will go in the Vande Bharat, personal finance magazine. And madam, please come. Thank you for this. And Samriddhi in Sanskrit is prosperity. I mean, path to prosperity. And in ancient Indian literature, it is said, money you want to grow, wealth creation question has come to Harish earlier. What it says is, Suviniyogat Samruddhi. When you utilize it rightly, that creates the wealth. Not only money, anything, your time or your life, everything you invest rightly for yourself, that gives the samruddhi, that creates the wealth. And with this, thank you all and wishing you all a wonderful time. And this is, I think tomorrow, this place of Karnataka celebrates, what is that, Varalakshmi Vratam, and there is a stanza in when we pray to the goddess Lakshmi, Jata Vedam Lakshmi Manapagaminim, I pray to the God that that goddess Lakshmi come and bless all of us and that stay with you in your house permanently and ensure that Suviniyogat Samruddhi. God bless you all. Thank you so much.